What is misusing privilege?
Oh, but this one could say something behind my back.
Trust issues.
I genuinely feel this, that the women in Dubai are just way more accomplished and just way more sorted.
Like in our family, we never get divorced.
That's a weird flex to have.
How can you trust someone just because you got a reference?
Should have had alcohol for this one.
Yeah, what do you think is in our mugs? It's not, it's coffee.
Like, she's my bitch because she is a female dog. She
She-
really is my bitch.
Yeah, she is. Cheating is insane.
Oh my god, men are dogs. No. Dogs are loyal. Dogs are incredible.
love
Please
that.
don't. They use Tinder.
Yeah.
But people are on Tinder for friends.
Hello everyone, welcome to Decoding Quirks. I'm your host Aditi, and today we have a really special guest with us. She has started working at a very young age, which we're going to find out about that. We are going to be covering up dating in Dubai. We're going to be covering love, unconditional, conditional, the love that we get from men, the love that we get from animals, and is self-doubt really a thing? So welcome, Bhairavi Prakash.
Thank you.
Hi.
You said my whole name. That's weird.
Yeah, is that weird? Because I on my phone it's stored as Bhairavi Prakash versus Bhairavi.
No, it's fine. It's okay. But it's just weird now when someone you know personally addresses you as, oh, hi. What's your full name?
Aditi Vijay Chandanani.
Hi, Aditi Vijay Chandanani.
Yeah, that is.
Right?
But you know what? I like to keep these intros in a way. It's like you can use it later,
Yeah.
like wherever.
Hi guys, this is Bhairavi Prakash.
Okay, so when you obviously your Instagram is Queen Bee, Queen Bhairavi,
Queen Bee.
Queen Bee.
Queen Bee.
How did you come up with that handle?
It was not my idea at all. So I used to study with a lot of non-desis. And the thing with them is they're like, so my name was always a conversation starter, right? They'd be like, Bhairavi, so I would just break it down like bear as in chair, but replace that with a B. So Bhairavi. And then they were just like, oh, let's call you B. And then they're like, oh, like Queen Bee. So then that's where it kind of...
Oh, interesting. I love it.
Yeah,
Mine was just no thought given. So my personal is Aditi VC. My work is therapy with Aditi VC.
Yeah.
It's just no thought has been given.
So you
to
don't
it.
have a nickname.
I have. It's Adi.
Yeah.
So that's really funny actually. While growing up, my parents called me Adi. So my closest friends in school, they called me Adi. And then when I moved out, like when I was in Dubai, when I was working and stuff like that, people didn't hear my parents call me Adi. They used to just see it in text, like when someone used to send a message or whatever, or when I would write. Then they start calling me Adi. So then you know the difference between people who are my closest friends growing up, they all call me Adi. And the ones who knew me now, like the last...
wannabes.
the last 10-15 years ka close friends, they'll call me Adi.
Adi.
So there you can see like this distinction in
I
like...
think I call you AD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some people call me Ditti.
Yeah.
It's...
I know she's a little crazy, then AD.
AD. But I remember when we were talking earlier,
Yeah.
you mentioned something about like you started working really young. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love these stories.
Yeah.
Like even for me, I had to just get some pocket money and I
Yeah.
was, trying to teach dance and this and that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I'm not a dancer anymore. I do not identify as a dancer anymore. In fact, it's really hard for me even at clubs and stuff to like be open. I think that's a different story because I feel like I'm not a child anymore. I need to reconnect with that version of my inner child. And it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
Everything is a journey. And I really don't identify as a dancer
I'm
anymore.
shook, by the way.
Seriously,
Okay,
I am.
We'll see if you actually still have that dancing
Should we
gene.
go
No,
dancing
no.
after this?
Wait, which song is this?
Oh yeah, yeah.
See, there's like
I know,
limited for space.
No,
here.
no. The Shava.
Yeah.
Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum.
Yeah. Okay, now which one's this?
That's also Kabhi Khushi
No.
Kabhi Gum. This is a
Listen.
Kejo one.
No, it's not, but it's got one of Kejo's favorite actresses.
Yeah, I know. What is it?
Moja Moja.
Moja. Okay. Great one. I love how we've gone from working when we
Yeah.
were young to dancing steps.
Yeah, okay, so We will talk about
Yeah, so for me, it's like I needed to work when we were young because
pocket money.
pocket money, and there's some form of freedom attached to it. And when you're young, you constantly want to be an adult.
Yeah.
For me, it was like,
What was wrong with us?
please don't grow up so
Yes.
fast, please. And I don't want to, like, now I don't want to grow up too fast.
Yeah.
Because now when I see like the people in their 50s and 40s, whatever, we don't know how old you are. It's a mystery. So I just feel like, dude, I don't want to grow now. I'm very, very happy in these 30s. But yeah, when you're younger, like if I work, it feels like I've done something. I feel like an adult. I have some form of control, some form of freedom. So I started working. Great. Not great. But you had a similar story where you started at 18.
So like everyone, and I see this constantly, like on a daily basis, we get audio files, we get CVs. I get them personally on my Instagram or on my work mail on LinkedIn, and I have these people sending me their audition, right? Sending me, oh, this is how I would do a show, and this is why it's my dream job.
So they just like voice note you?
Yeah, they send me voice notes. They also send me their CV, and they also say that, we don't want to be paid right now. We just want to do this because this is our dream job, to be a radio presenter. And I get it. Like, I love my job. But when someone asks me, how did this happen? As cliche as this is, but it literally just happened. Like, it was just meant to be, I guess. So I was doing journalism, and there was this radio station then who needed someone to produce their news. So I said, perfect. It's literally right up my alley. I'm studying journalism, so I can actually like write news, and then someone presents it. I go there, and then they said, you have a nice voice. Would you be interested in presenting? I said, absolutely. Again, I'm like 18 at that time, 18 or 19 at the time. So I'm just like, yeah, I'd love to. Within, I think, a month or so. So I had this golden retriever energy. And I thought everyone was my friend. Oh my God, basically having banter with every colleague, or just being yourself. Because at that point, you've never been exposed to a professional environment, and you don't know how it is to conduct yourself, right? You don't know divisions, departments, and hierarchy, and you have no idea.
Yeah.
So I was just being myself, and I got along with the creative head of that organization. I had no idea that I knew he was a senior, respected person, but I didn't know that he was the one calling the shots. So within a month, he asks me, and he's like, you're witty. You have a nice voice. By then, I'd already started doing news at this station. He's like, why don't you try doing the weekend show? I said, yeah, sure. Like, he was basically throwing these opportunities at me, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, sure, absolutely. So within the next couple of months, I basically had a full-time slot, and then soon I was doing the morning show on that station. It just happened.
Insane. Because if somebody would have told me this
Yeah.
story today, I would have self-sabotaged this entire
Yeah.
thing.
I had zero self-doubt. I was not, and I think as we grow older, we are constantly like second guessing our own abilities. We're always thinking that, yeah, but I'm sure there may be someone better. Or, maybe someone else. At that point, I had zero experience. And I also had, I had nothing to lose. I was just going to gain out of every experience, which is why I think, because when I look back at how I've reached, or where, not how I've reached as in, whoa, I've accomplished so much.
But you have.
But
Yeah.
stop it. But, the fact that, I mean, what I'm getting to do on a daily basis is like a dream job for so many people. And I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. But it just happened.
Okay, so I know I spoke about this with Simran on the first episode as well. And she was like, it just happened. It was just a coincidence, or just right place, right time. I don't know if I agree that there are coincidences and it just happens and you are at the right place. I mean, yeah, okay, right place, right time, yes. But I don't know if it's just a coincidence. I don't know if I want to say that this is all luck or this is all by chance. I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that because I know
Yeah.
how much work it's taken to
Yeah.
get that education, to get into that university, to study journalism,
Yeah.
to make those friends who can tell you about this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like we have disregarded all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just happened.
Mm.
Of course, you didn't know what was going to happen. That's a whole different thing,
Mm.
right? But I was like, we've put in so much work.
Yeah. I mean, I also know there were so many other people who auditioned and who didn't get the job while I was, this intern, this little kid who was there just to produce the news. And then this opportunity fell into my hands. And I'm not saying, I think that I also probably had a certain amount of privilege as well
Yeah.
because, I wasn't thinking of what the money was. And I would give all credit to my parents for this because I remember my parents saying that, you're just starting out. In fact, you're probably not even starting out because you're still like in second year. So all of this is just your experience. All of this is making you the person that you have to become.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from a place of privilege because probably there were other people who needed to know, okay, but how much am I making? Or maybe who couldn't take that opportunity because it wasn't good pay. And I'll be honest, it was not good pay.
You were starting off.
Yeah.
When we start off, it's never
No,
supposed to
even
be.
uske baad. I mean, even after that, it wasn't. but
Yeah.
but it is what it is. It's a part of, growth.
I completely agree with that
Yeah.
as well. Like there is privilege attached to it. In fact, I said this in the previous podcast as well. The fact that I knew that I wanted to go in for therapy is privilege.
Yeah.
People are going through anxiety, people are going through depression. They don't even know that they're going through what they're going through. The fact that I knew what I'm going through is privilege. The fact that I could just like turn around and be like, my next salary, I'm putting out this much money to go in for therapy, that's privilege. So I agree to it, and I'm also like, this is the right kind of privilege. This is the
Yeah.
privilege I want to be working for even more.
Yeah.
Going down further
Yeah.
in life, I want to be creating these opportunities and these privileges for myself.
And I think everyone, everyone wants to get a certain kind of privilege. And we'd be lying if you don't want to misuse privilege, but there's two different things. Like everyone wants to have a certain kind of privilege. Everyone wants to have that soft cushioning.
Yeah.
But it's about how you use it as well, right?
What is misusing privilege?
Like, say, for instance, me getting someone on board just because I probably have a level of
Personal gain.
power, and then I know that, okay, this person's just going to be,
Listening to you.
yeah, like my yes man of sorts,
Yeah.
or basically just, wow, I was going to say nepotism, but you know what I mean? Like basically giving that opportunity to someone who probably does not have that
Yeah.
capability or talent, but only because I know that person.
So when I started my first job in Dubai, I actually I got it on my own like grit and my own CV and all of that.
Yeah.
Those days. Also, let's talk about those days in a bit. But I got it all on my grit and my CV, everything.
Yeah.
The second job that I got, I remember like the guy who was interviewing me, then they asked, now, what does your father do? What does your family do? And somehow I think he had a connection to what my father's business was. And then it was like, okay, now they know. It felt great when nobody was connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, now they know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, I hope this is not the reason why I get it.
Yeah.
Like there was this internal thing
Yeah.
within me because like if I get it because they know my father, I will have to prove myself even more.
Yeah.
Here, if I mess up, I mess up. Here, if
Yeah.
I succeed, I succeed. But I was like, if they know it because of Vasta, then I was like, I have to prove myself even more. So for me, that kind of privilege actually scares me. Like, please don't hire me or don't call me anywhere. If you know me, that puts so much pressure on my head.
Honestly, the world runs on Wasta, especially here in the UAE. Wasta.
Dude, it's
Wasta
insane.
is the Rasta.
It's insane amount of like Vasta that works here because I know people who are constantly looking for jobs.
Yeah.
And then there's this one guy who'll walk in from the street, has like beat all of them. right? So Vasta definitely, contacts definitely work in Dubai.
I'm okay with Wasta. I have nothing
Yeah.
against Wasta, but I have one thing against the okay, so I'll tell you something that happened with a friend of mine who appeared for 4 interviews, okay? Like with the same organization. So like first stage done, second stage done, right? 4 interviews. And then then he gets a call saying that, oh, we did internal hiring. So he was just like, what?
Yeah.
Right. So you've obviously also given this person hope after this person's cleared 3 rounds, 4 rounds. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if there's wasta, just establish it from the first round. Don't waste someone else's time.
Yeah. And like it's insane over here in Dubai. It's very difficult to get a job
Wasta.
without contacts, without Vasta, any of that. What I also do find really funny over here is that they will. I mean, do people have like major trust issues? That's why they choose Vasta? Because how can you trust someone just because you got a reference,
Yeah.
right?
I
Like,
mean, where does the reference come from? That makes a difference.
yeah, I mean, I've seen some where are just like,
Yeah, random. Like,
yeah,
how do you know them? Oh,
a
my
friend has
sister's
told, yeah,
neighbor's cousin. It's like, sorry, what?
yeah. So I'm like, is there like some serious trust issues going on or what over here?
Do we really want to get started with trust issues?
I think
Are
like
we
people
there
do.
yet?
No, people in Dubai have a lot of trust issues.
Yeah.
And I think it starts like really young here. I
Yeah.
mean, you were,
I've been here.
yeah,
I've
you
been a
have
Dubai
also,
baby. I've been here all my life.
yeah, exactly. So you've been here all your life. I've
Yeah.
been here like half my life,
Huh.
born here, up and down Bombay
Yeah.
and this. So I can see because sometimes when I used to come back from like summer vacations,
Mm.
right, from
Mm.
Bombay to Dubai,
Mm.
I'm like, dude, people are like really either completely held by their parents when you're like, don't go out
Yeah.
here, don't go out there. And even though it's like super safe, but of course, like incidents can happen anywhere. It's not like a
Mm.
big deal. But I think people just have really bad trust issues because you're controlled so
Mm.
much, and then you just want to like have that burst of joy, and then you mess up and you make mistakes.
Mm.
So it's like dating from such a young age was so like toxic over here when whoever like my cousins and all
Yeah.
when I saw it,
Yeah.
and toxic in the sense where from 5 to 6 p.m. I'm with this girl, and like 7 to 8 p.m. I'm with the other girl
Huh.
because she's not allowed to get out. And this is not like, I'm not talking like 5th, 6th standard.
Mm.
I'm talking about like 9th, 10th, 11th standards. So,
Sorry, I was a boy then, so I have no idea.
oh, yeah.
I've
No,
been a boy all my life. I mean, a tomboy.
yeah. So I feel like trust issues I have seen start from these small things.
Mm.
Then it's like now these kids are obviously becoming young adults. Then they are getting like 21,
Yeah.
starting a job. Then the trust issues there also are like just being thrown up. So it's actually a generational trust issue is what I'm trying to say. The mother puts it into the children. The children are just like, okay, will he break up with me? Will he not? Can I go out? Can I not? And then this trust issue
Wow.
now goes into their early adulthood of like, can I trust this colleague? Can I not? Can I? And then also because you're not trusting anyone, there's this in there's this
Mm.
fire within you of I need a best friend.
Yeah.
I need a girlfriend. Like a girlfriend needs another girlfriend.
Mm.
Boys, they need their boy group that doesn't like stab them. So then suddenly I see this massive rush of people like wanting to find really close friends. And then they start trauma dumping. Because when you instantly trauma dump and be like, now I've told you a secret, now we're bound by life.
Yeah.
Now
Like
you
you know
can't.
something so deep about me, so
Yeah.
you better
Yeah.
you must have gone through something. Tell me.
No, but that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens. And
Yeah.
I see this cycle a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is this part of it that's also come out even in like this companies as well,
Mm.
where just like, bro, you only tell me who to hire. Like Vasta is better than me going through this entire
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. But this, the whole trust issue, it's such a she's brought it about so casually, but it just made me realize something. You were talking about friends and how people get a little eager to make close friendships, like, oh, my bestie, and I mean, and I just was looking back at all my friends and I realized all my close friends have been with me mostly since childhood. Like my closest of friends are the ones who've seen me
Yeah.
like since I was in school or
Yeah.
college or
Yeah.
cricket or like
Yeah. That's the same thing for me as well. Like, I mean, I do have like 2, 3
yeah.
made the exception, but like my closest girlfriends are from school,
Mm.
and then the few closest friends from Dubai were in our like early adulthood, like working life, where we
Yeah.
all were struggling, where
Yeah.
we all were just eating rice and egg.
Yeah. And
Because
you
we
didn't realize that was trauma back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And we were just like all like blowing up our money on
Yeah.
alcohol and then just like
Yeah.
surviving on like
Yeah.
karak and shawarma
Yeah.
and falafel
And
and
now
all.
you probably look back and be like, crazy times.
Crazy times,
Yeah.
crazy.
We were crazy.
Yeah, but like those that I maybe trauma bonding happened then. And so these are some close friends that I have. But yeah, I think it always comes down to
Mm.
my girlfriends still. They are really like
Mm.
my,
Yeah.
I can say anything, I
Yeah.
can do anything. And to get that all over again,
Mm.
I don't know if somebody has that privilege to just walk into my life
Mm.
and claim that spot. Because we went through so many ups and
Yeah.
downs and loyalty tests.
Yeah.
With some people, you know, there's a vibe. With some people, you know.
Yeah.
But you still have to go through that.
Yeah.
And I feel like here, because of the loneliness in Dubai is a very big thing.
I agree.
Maybe people don't have that time to go through all those loyalty tests
Yeah.
and everything,
Yeah.
or to go through that friendship.
And I also think once you grow up, it's not as easy because you're not as easy to be a friend too. You know what I mean?
You want to receive, you don't want to give.
Yeah. And it's more so because I think with you just look back at all the bad experiences, or you think of oh, but this one could say something behind my back.
Trust issues.
Yeah. Oh my God, life comes though. Life is just a whole circle moment right now. Yeah, and when you spoke about the fact that people want friendships here in Dubai, but they're not able to get such close friendships, you know what I feel they do? They end up doing, and I didn't know that people were doing this until someone told me, and they use Tinder,
Yeah.
but people are on Tinder for friends, which I just was like, what?
Why?
Like, hold on, you just got caught, and now you're saying that no, I'll just make friends on Tinder. Who makes friends on Tinder?
What the hell?
So,
No, but I think okay, so I don't know how much I believe in this. Again, trust issues clearly. But yeah, when I used to be on the apps,
Mm.
I did meet a couple of people that said that, okay, we're just here to make friends. And I'm like, but why are you on a dating app? Because I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to like seek out a romantic relationship. And then it'll be like, oh, like, friends with benefit, casual, this, that. I'm like, but that's not what I want.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know why people do that here.
Distraction.
Yeah. It's so lonely.
Yeah.
It's
You
so
want to go to a
lonely
new place and you don't know who to go with.
to
So-
find someone online. Fucking bhaji or what we are.
Bhaji.
Vegetables.
Oh.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I met this person on Tinder, it just struck me when I met this person on Tinder, they just obviously wanted to meet a cool girl. And that time I was a really cool girl.
I mean, you
wasn't-
still are.
Yeah, but that time I was not like all feelings.
Oh.
Now I'm like, dude, I'm feelings
Yeah.
and I'm cool. So if you want both, it
Mm.
comes together.
I'm the whole package.
Yeah, I'm the whole package. Don't like one compartment doesn't come.
Oh, but I also, this is I genuinely feel this, that the women in Dubai are just way more accomplished and just way more sorted than
Then-
the men in Dubai. And I'm like,
Yes, someone had to say it. Someone had to say
Right?
it. Yeah.
you agree?
I agree. Oh my God, I agree. The women here are so, dude.
Focused
I know people. Okay, I mean, this
and
was
not
a-
looking everywhere when they have someone.
Thank you. The women here are like the breadwinners. The women here take care of the whole family back home. Before it used to be a trend, right? That the fathers would be living in the Gulf and they would send money back home. It was a big trend.
Yeah.
And I think it still is a little bit here.
Yeah.
But now you see like women like take over, like the daughters of the families
Yeah.
come, the women are doing it. They're taking care of their husbands over here. It's insane. And they're loyal.
Mm.
There are so many women here who are so like loyal.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there are that section that is
Yeah, we're
only
not
meant
saying
for that,
everyone.
for like being whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are women who are so loyal
Yeah.
and so real, and they really have made it, bro.
Yeah.
They understand family, they understand money, they understand success, they understand multitasking.
Yeah.
I love it. It's such a role model.
And I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe it's not just a Dubai thing or a UAE thing. I feel like maybe with the generation, like from millennial onwards, right? I feel like the girls or the got woke, but in their thinking, in their approach to life, or in how they need to be financially independent, and on how they need to have their education, on how they need to have an employment. Like, for instance, and not just the UAE, but everywhere, if you were to just look at, say, your cousins or your friend circle or even your extended friend circle, just look at millennials and, well, Gen Zs. You guys will get there. I trust you. But but right, you know what I mean? That we would just
Yeah.
have a focus, or just a more clearer aspect, because I think that the previous generations have probably seen so much or undergone so much more drama in terms of little decisions that they unfortunately could not take.
The quality of women are increasing,
Yeah.
and the quality of men have remained the same, which is why I feel that there's a conflict and there's that difference now. And now men really need to buckle up. They need to like get more onto the table, because now we are not coming into their houses.
Yeah.
We are not going into their lives. A man and a woman are both leaving their houses and coming here. So
Yeah.
it's like, what else do you have other than providing? Because now even a woman can provide. In
Yeah.
fact, a woman, if she doesn't provide, if there isn't a dual income, there's some serious problem here, because you're going to have financial problems. You can't live in a place like Dubai and not have dual income.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
more,
unless you're doing like extremely well for yourself, okay. But the majority of the public, you
yeah.
need two incomes to survive.
And that's like
Yeah.
also the top what, 1%, 5%. Chalo, let's be generous and say the top 5% needs like only one salary, and they are very, very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
But not the rest of them. Everybody needs like dual income.
Yeah.
And if the woman's making money and the man's making money, then what else can the man bring to the table? And that's what I think is happening right now. The quality of women are increasing, but the quality of men they need to start learning how to increase. That's what I feel.
As they say, inshallah. I hope it happens soon.
I hope it does happen soon. Because see, love is very complicated, because love is not enough. I don't believe it. Do you think like love is enough?
See, I love love. I'm a sucker for love. Like, for me, blame Yash Chopra for it, if you may, or my father. Love starts from our houses, right? I mean, that's our first school. So for me, love is the fact that people probably gift bouquets on Valentine's Day, but Papa will bring a gamla, like a pot of whatever plant, because my mother she thinks a bouquet is a dead flower. So, for me, that's love. For me, love is when dad will take that same thing to collect her from the airport, or as little as waking up earlier to put the geyser on, even though you could just be sleeping, but just because someone else has to leave for work, right? For me, all of this is love, because it's that effort that you put in
Yeah.
for your person.
Those are love languages as well, right?
Yeah,
These are like
yeah.
acts of service
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I love love as well. I feel like love is something that reminds me that we are connected. I- these gestures of love that you
Yeah.
just mentioned, they remind me that we are connected.
Yeah.
They remind me that we are going to have each other's back,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
It's the loyalty that really binds people together.
Yeah.
It's the trauma, it's the hurdle, it's the fights, it's all of that that really like proves in a way. I don't know if I want to use this word, but proves that we are meant to be.
And I say this,
Yeah.
that when people talk about love and gifts and gifting, and like, oh, I got her a diamond and I got him this wallet, right? Nice. I'm not against spoiling your partner. That's fantastic. But I think the most precious thing in a relationship is something that doesn't even cost a dirham. Loyalty. Like, that's the most expensive thing you can actually give someone, right? Just being their person.
Wow.
And like, it's so difficult to have blind trust in someone. And I,
Yeah.
like, it's sad. It's really sad. But that's my idea of love, is that I'll never be second guessing. I'll never have a thought. And I also want a partner who gives me that reassurance. And likewise, if my partner needs that reassurance, I should be able to provide that reassurance to that partner. But I think the most precious thing is just being loyal. And it's for free.
And it's sexy, dude. Loyalty
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
sexy. It is.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think of it that way. But loyalty is one of the hardest things to do
Yeah.
because we are also staying in a very tempting generation. Everyone is a message away, everyone is a text away,
A
everyone
swipe away.
a swipe away. Exactly. You're constantly traveling, you constantly have opportunities to meet people, to talk to people. It's not, it's very, very tough to be loyal. And I don't want to say like tough, like, oh my God, you've like accomplished so much. No, I'm not saying it in that sense. I'm just saying tough because we are constantly put in these situations. You go for a birthday party, you go for a brunch, you go for anywhere, you're constantly put in these situations. You choose to be in these situations. But do you like, I don't know, do you like love what your life is? Do you love enough?
I don't know, maybe there's something off, because I've actually had this conversation with my friends, and I have a switch, okay, where I will not get, you can have Jason Momoa for all I care, but like if I'm with someone, I don't know, I just don't have that attraction or that feeling of, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't like,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like loyalty is innate. Like, you're not going, because it's as simple as cheating in a game,
Yeah.
right? It starts from that, right?
Or cheating in your exams.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, maybe not exams. but yeah, like for me, I just feel like if I'm with someone, I'm automatically out, because you can't go to bed with yourself, like with all those thoughts of that you've cheated someone.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's the basic, right? It's what you're supposed to be in a relationship.
It's really sad, but like there's so many types of cheating also, no, nowadays. There's like
Yeah.
financial, like the cheating comes from like emotional cheating. It comes to like just texting,
Yeah.
sexting. Then it comes down to the physical aspect. And then all of this is like some form of abuse, which comes down to again emotional abuse, financial abuse, and all of that. So it's like so layered now that back in the day, it's like, oh, if the person hit you multiple times, not once is still forgiven. If the person hit you multiple times and it's abuse, or if it was a one-time error that he has made, forgive it, move on, because you have a bigger life and a bigger family and children to think about, so you let it go. And if they're cheating multiple times, then of course he's a cheater now. So there is just so many layers to it. So for me, I just feel like if someone's doing it with a sense of intent, if you're talking to a girl, and even if it's like on sliding into someone's DM on Instagram, but if you're doing it with intention, it's cheating. Even if you're
is.
getting close to somebody emotionally with some form of intent,
Yeah.
it's cheating. And if the guy says, I don't know why I was texting her, you know why you're texting her.
Yeah.
It's emotional cheating.
Yeah.
And that's not okay, and that's not allowed. Like, it's if someone does allow it, then I hope that they understand why are they allowing this. And if they are allowing it, they think themselves really low, right? Like, I need this guy, even though he's emotionally cheated, I still need. And that's really sad, because women have been growing up in this narrative of you are lesser, you're not going to get someone better than him. This was your best opportunity. This is a great opportunity.
And I think the guys also probably end up doing it with that thought in their mind that, oh, she's not going to leave me. Like, she can't do better than me. And
Yeah.
it's sad.
I have actually seen this happen with certain forms of upbringing. So people come from certain spirituality, religions, and all of that, and they don't allow divorce. They don't allow it. And then they'll be like, okay, I'll do whatever I want. I know she's not going to leave me. I know he's not going to leave me. And, it becomes so much more toxic that time.
And it's sad.
Yeah, because
mean,
like
you
in
know-
our family, we never get divorced. It's like that.
That's a weird flex to have, because you're also not happy, right?
No one's happy.
And I think, the worst is that the person who got cheated on, probably their idea of love has just been ruined forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. And that's where like trust issues come. And then these trust issues, okay, when you've experienced it, this is what you put down on
Yeah.
other you put down on your children, you put down on your the new partner in
Yeah.
case you have a new partner. On the new partner that you have, you put it down on other people. This is what generational trauma is,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's insane. Trust issues are insane. Cheating is insane. I mean, yeah, it is.
Should have had alcohol for this one.
Yeah, what do you think is in our mugs? It's not, it's coffee. It's Dubai, we can't do this.
But you know who does not cheat? Are animals.
I love that.
Animals. Dogs. Dogs are a man's best friend, right?
Yeah.
I just love animals. I think just tell me any 3 animals right now.
It has to be a dog.
Okay, then.
Now, because I say a dog, cat, and a fish.
So apparently, and someone did this game with me recently. So the first animal is how the world sees you.
Okay.
Okay, so you said dog.
Yeah.
Loyal,
Yeah.
friendly,
Yeah.
intelligent, of course.
Loves connection.
So friendly. Second is how
I see the world.
no. Is how you really are.
Okay. Which is? I only want to be with 1 or 2 people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I only want to be with 1 or 2 people. I'm a little cautious now, growing up now.
And third is what you aim to be or something on those
Chill.
lines.
Bro, I'm a Pisces anyway, so I'm a fish.
Same. Yeah.
I love it. So it's like, okay, I'm like a fish. I'm just one of those. I want to be serene,
Yeah.
peaceful, chill.
I just want to be like sipping
So
some
what were-
nariyal pani on the beach.
What were your 3 animals?
I said dog.
Of course.
Yeah. No, I said dragon. I love
What?
dragons. I love dragons. Dragons, dog, and elephant.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the amount of. So, I have an issue. I can't watch any movie, and horror movies are the worst. When there's a dog introduced in the story, I'm like, I can't.
Dude, I just like can't watch animal abuse videos generally. Like
yeah.
I
No.
yeah.
Abuse is like an actual thing that's happening. But this is
yeah.
a movie, which is mostly not even a real animal at this point.
Yeah.
But I can't.
But it's the same sentiment in that aspect. I can't because I'm like, dude, I love animals.
Too much.
I love dogs. Like my favorite thing in the world are dogs. I've had a dog for a very, very long time. She just
Ginger.
she
Yeah.
just passed away. And I'm like, dude, I can't watch an animal. I'll like put all the money I have and donate for that animal. So
Yeah.
I'll be there, but on the back end, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I can't watch it. Like my friends go and actually help when a dog gets run over.
Yeah.
Or take them to the vet and foster
Yeah.
them and this and that. But somehow I just don't have it in me. It's too much. It's too much. So where I love them, I still can't do it. And there was a point where I questioned it in my life. I'm like, do you really love them?
Yeah.
Because I used to see those other people like actually do. And I'm like, no, maybe my love is just a different type of love. And if I can't physically do, I'll financially do. But yeah, it's very hectic. And it's also what I realized that there is unconditional love, 100%.
Absolutely. Like, I know I have not cried for any other movie as much as I have cried watching Hachiko, Marley and Me,
Insane.
Game of Thrones.
I've not seen Game of Thrones.
Don't. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, fantastic.
Yeah.
But just there's so many animals and
No.
and now House of the Dragon.
No way. But honestly, I feel like, yes, TV, the Marley and Me, they just made it see that connection, no, which they show.
Oh gosh.
Fuck, why do they do that?
Yeah.
It's insane. And I've also felt it. I said, when you have a dog at home, the
Yeah.
one thing that, I don't know, like, there's someone in the house taking care of you.
Yeah.
Weirdly,
Absolutely.
they're not taking care of you.
Yeah. I mean, you're taking care of
I'm
them.
taking care of you. I'm
And
taking care of
if you have
them.
a husky, then it's an entirely different story.
Really?
I've got 3 dogs.
Huh.
And that's Jugni, Mishti, and Dhamaka.
Huh. I love the names.
And we find so I have a magnet in me. Okay, like I could be anywhere. I had a shoot that I was doing in some random place in like the border of Ajman.
Okay.
And this was in the middle of the night. So like 1 o'clock. And there's all like, we can hear, there's music playing, there's cameras flashing. And I just asked everyone to be quiet. I was like, hold on. I can hear, I know I can hear. And there's a specific,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, sound that, well, a dog in distress makes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, there is a dog somewhere. They're like, baby, there's nothing here. I said, no,
Yeah.
for sure there's a dog.
Yeah.
I go and I'm like in a whole lehenga and everything. Um, and well, there was a dog. I just find dogs wherever I am. And then, of course, I found her a home and everything, brought her back,
Yeah.
found her a home, called her Pataka because it was around Diwali time. But other than my questionable name choices for dogs, I love them.
No, but it doesn't it take a lot from you when you have to like emotionally give to animals?
Absolutely. But they give so much back, right?
Yeah, they do.
I could be gone for 5 minutes and I walk back. Oh my God, where were you? It's been so long. Why
Yeah.
were you not here?
Nobody
Yeah.
greets you like an animal greets you when you come home.
Especially a dog.
Especially a dog.
Especially a
No,
dog.
no one will greet you when you come back home like a dog because that is unconditional love.
Like, we've got a lot of cats outside as well. So my father feeds all the strays.
Hmm.
And they'll just come to the garden and chill with Papa and everything. But of course, cats have their own personality.
Yeah.
Cats will let you pet them when they wish to be pet,
Yeah.
right? Petted or whatever.
Yeah.
Dogs are just like, yes, give me your love. Here, scratch my tummy, under my ear. Right? Dogs have that. Like, yes, I want you.
I've always said that a dog will teach you how to love,
Yeah.
and no, a dog will a dog will let you know, yeah, how to receive love because a dog always gives love.
Yeah.
A dog will always teach you how to receive love.
Mm.
A cat will teach you how to love because you have to do it as per their wishes and wants.
Oh.
So you learn both things from both people. But that's why I said, like, the unconditional love sometimes becomes so much
Yeah.
that you don't even know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So even when I had a dog, just being around it and being comfortable that
Yeah.
someone loves me so much is weird. Like, I know when I had this with my Instagram growth,
Yeah.
I was very uncomfortable with it. I was
Why?
very uncomfortable with being recognized in places.
Yeah.
I was very uncomfortable. And somebody used to come up to me and walk up to me and be like, "Oh, आप वो mental health coach है, आप वो wellness speaker है, and you're like a wellness speaker." I'd be like,
No, that's
"Yeah,
not me.
no, I'd be like, how do you know? How? What?"
Are you stalking me?
And I'm just like so uncomfortable. You know what I've done, Bhairavi?
Yeah.
There was this one in Bombay, there's a Geo World Drive, and I was talking over there. I was giving like a speech. It was a 40-minute speech. All of that is done. They've done marketing. The people have come, they've heard me. And you know, once you finish, the people talk to you.
Yeah.
And this one chick has taken my number. I've given my number. I'm like, okay, you know, and when you give a new person your number, you'll always give the number and then you'll say your name. Like, it's the most normal thing to
Yeah.
do. So I gave my number and then I was like, Aditi. And no, sorry. I gave my number and she was like, Aditi. So I was like, how do you know my name?
Yeah.
And she's also like, bro, your fucking picture is everywhere, man.
You're
Like, the
going viral,
poster is there
girl.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And even I'm just like, what? How do you know my name?
Yeah.
And then it took me 3 days. When I was having a shower after
Yeah.
3 days, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, she knew my name because
Also, these thoughts hit you in the shower,
shower
right?
always. And I'm like, oh my God. But you know,
Yeah.
like coming back to the fact that all these incidences somehow happened in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I getting recognized? Why
Yeah.
are people stopping me on the road? Why are people... Hate is very easy to take because you're like, I will tackle it. Like, I'm strong, independent woman. I have been born for this. I'm been born to take care and
Yeah.
protect my life.
What is this? I can handle it.
Love is fucking complex, bro. Love is complex. It's very hard to accept. And that's why connecting it back to a dog, it's like, why does this dog even love me so much?
Yeah.
It's insane. And from there, you learn how to accept unconditional love. Because humans do not have unconditional love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even like when we were talking about like the cheating and the loyalty and
Yeah.
all, like your condition is be loyal. My condition is, have my back, or,
Yeah,
show up for me and all. We all have our
sure.
negotiables and non-negotiables. When you go in for therapy, they'll always tell you that there is a negotiable list, there is your non-negotiable list. So
Mm.
these are our conditions that we are putting onto people, and we need these to keep us as human as possible
Yeah.
and as safe as possible and put our boundaries up. But dogs, the first time I've ever felt
Just
unconditional love.
pure love.
Insane, right? And that's what hurts me, when someone actually like abuses animal. It's like, it's so unconditional. Where do you want to push that boundary?
Also, such a weak person, because here is a being which cannot, who can't speak, right? Like, if you're to hurt a dog or whatever, kick and not even, I'm not getting
Getting into the
there.
details.
But yeah, why? Because they can't talk. Or how are they going to report this?
It's a power move.
Yeah. But it's a weak power move. I think someone has to be incredibly weak to actually have that kind of a thought process.
Yeah, you need to be so weak in your life to want to abuse an animal, because that gives you power.
Yeah, because you can't do that to another human.
Yeah. And no one's going to find out, no one's going to say anything.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it gives them such a high, which is already like such a troubling thought process to have.
And I think of the dog who probably went to that person thinking, oh, they're happy to see me, they're going to give me love.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah.
How did we get here? We were talking about men, and then we came to dogs.
Someone recently said something which I thought made so much sense. They said that cat people, because I was talking about when I'm not smiling, I essentially have a resting bitch face.
Same.
Okay? So I may be a friendly person, but if I'm not smiling,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be received as a friendly person.
At weddings,
Yeah.
I have to just smile because you have these candid pictures, and that's the most like tiring part of the
Yeah.
wedding. Not the sari or anything. It's just like not having that face. Yes, exactly.
yeah.
So you were saying.
So and this person told me, Bhairavi, cat people, ironically, cat people are the ones with resting bitch faces.
What?
And I said, whoa, that makes so much sense, because usually when
Yeah.
typically a cat person's just like,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
a dog person like, huh?
But why do I have it then?
No, I think with us, it's just because we don't, until we smile,
Yeah.
and then we're fine.
When I'm smiling, then I'm very approachable.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, maybe a little too approachable.
no,
I'm
but
kidding.
I know how to have my boundaries. I've learned all these years of therapy. Hello. But yeah, I'm like, it's very scary to have that.
Also, I feel that people who've grown up with animals versus people who haven't, there's so much more of an emotional growth.
You can see the difference when someone has a pet and
Yeah.
someone didn't have a pet.
Yeah.
It's huge, like empathy and just understanding, being.
And you're more respectful about their feelings, about, like, I would always think that, okay, if I was to do this, how is Aditi gonna feel about this? Like, am I hurting her feelings? Am I being rude? Maybe sometimes a little much, but it's just, but it's, I think, and I feel like that's the difference between animal people and just
Yeah.
regular people.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Like, you are thinking
More
about
sensitive.
it from a different point of
Yeah.
view and not a human point of view, because that you can add layers. Right? When you're thinking of it from an animal point of view, you are thinking of it from a very basic point of view. And then when it becomes a habit, you add that as the formula into your rest of your life. And
Like, as soon as if you see someone who's good with animals, you automatically like the person.
yes.
You think that you give the person a benefit of doubt that, yeah, she must be a nice person.
Yes. And
You
that's
know?
why all these Hinge and Tinder and all of them have a
Oh my god.
have a dog in it. Like, all the men have a dog picture.
It's probably not their dog.
Yeah, it's probably not their dog. 100% it's not their dog. But yeah, we can like go on and on and on talking about like men and dogs and
Yeah.
dating in Dubai. And we've had a few technical errors in this recording podcast. So
Also, I would never ever, sorry to cut you off, but I
No.
would never, I hate it when people say, oh my god, men are dogs. No. Dogs are loyal. Dogs are incredible.
I love
Please
that.
don't.
Please don't ever
that.
say
Yeah.
men are dogs because dogs are the
It's-
best.
Unless you're giving them a compliment, then it's fine.
No, dogs are the best.
Yeah.
You-
Like, oh, men are dogs. That's the
Yeah,
intention. Not
no.
men are dogs. Men are dogs.
Yeah, did you
Yeah.
understand the difference or no?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't. Like, I think there's another one also. Like, I mean, we already used the word, but like, even bitch, I don't agree to it at all. Like, I love it. Like, it's like, oh, I have a cute bitch at home. I
Yeah.
was like, please don't say this.
Yeah.
I love it. So,
Like, she's my bitch because she is a female dog. She
She-
really is my bitch.
yeah, she is.
Jugni and Mishti are my bitches.
I love it.
And they know that.
I love that. I love that. I hope we've changed the narrative here for you guys. So yeah. As I said, we've had a few technical errors and this podcast has gone longer than we wanted to. But thank you so much, Bhairavi, for dealing with this and
was-
handling me and the cameras.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I think we just needed to spend more time together.
Honestly.
I think that's I was asking what the
What?
sign is. Why is the camera going
Oh.
off all the time?
Now you know.
I think it was because we needed to spend more
I think
time
you may
together.
have done this intentionally.
Maybe I did. Who knows? Maybe I'm trying to just be friends with her.
B.
Like more.
It's awkward.
More like
I thought we-
better.
yeah.
Like that loyalty wala
Yeah.
which we spoke about.
Yeah. Like
Maybe
match our
that.
kundlis next.
All right. Thank you so much. Please, wait, where can they follow you?
At Bhairavi Prakash.
Yeah.
That's
it.
on Instagram, on
That's it, no?
yeah, TikTok,
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn,
Oh,
Saturn, Jupiter. That's
You're
the name.
everywhere, dude. I love it.
Everywhere,
I
guys.
love it.
Just Bhairavi Prakash. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Please like, follow, subscribe. Thank you.
You're welcome.